Welcome to Basement MTG, with me, a nerd in his basement. In this deck, I'll be going over the Temur deck, the deck list of that. If you'd like to see this deck tested out, check out the video of it against Battle of the Horde and against the Defeated God deck. This video will just be showcasing which cards are in this deck, as those videos don't always show everything. First, we got Mountain, Island, Forest. These are the non-basic lands. Frontier, Bivouac adds one of the three. Vivid Grove, again, adds one of the three. We'll add Forest all the time, but they have 2 charge counters on it for any other mana. The Mistrise Village. Really good land for any deck that has blue. You can tap 1 blue, tap it, next spell you cast this turn can't be countered. Litjara, Mirror Lake. You can sack it, get a token. It's a copy of target creature you control, but it comes in with an additional 1/1 counter on it. Reliquary Tower, no maximum hand size. Temple of Mystery, just adds a couple mana, or one of those mana. Scry 1. Skarg, get some creatures beefed up, give them trample. And the rest are just various dual lands. A couple ones that will ping you for damage. Some that will gain you life. And Uncharted Haven, which you can choose which color it's going to be. Now for the instants and sorcery, Shamantic Revelation. Draw a card each creature you control. Gain 4 life for each one, power 4 or greater. Mythos of Aluna. You can create a token that's a copy of a permanent. If you tap red and green with it, then it enters the battlefield. If it's a creature, it can fight something. Dragonclaw Strike, another fighting card, doubles the power and toughness of a creature till end of turn, and it can fight something. Icy Blast, tap X creatures. You control a creature with power 4 or greater, they don't untap on the untap step. Similar card, but for burning, Creator's Claws. I'll deal X damage to a creature or player. We'll do X plus 2 if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. This also has the ferocious ability, See the Unwritten. This is an awesome card for this deck, as it is creature heavy. Reveal the top 8 cards, put a creature from among them on the battlefield. If you control a creature power 4 or greater, though, you can do 2 instead of the 1. These are the enchantments, artifacts, permanents that aren't creature or planeswalkers. We got Breaching Dragonstorm. When it enters, exile cards from the top of the library till you get a non-land card. You can cast it without paying its mana cost if that spell's mana value is 8 or less. If you don't put it in your hand, when a dragon enters, you can return that to your hand to continually do that over and over. This deck isn't quite a dragon deck, but it is dragon heavy, so it does fit pretty well in here. Encroaching Dragonstorm is a similar enchantment. It comes in, get 2 basic land cards on the battlefield tapped. Dragon comes in, you can put it back in your hand to play it again. Mox Jasper, add a mana of any color, only if you control a dragon, and Temur Ascendancy. Creatures you control have haste, and when a creature power 4 or greater comes in, draw a card. Drawing card is excellent, so you gotta have that up in here. Zarkon Unbroken, +1, draw a card, add a mana, get a 4/4 dragon, or search your library for any number of dragons, put them on the battlefield. Like I said, it's not a dragon deck, but there is plenty in here for that last ability to be pretty game-changing, if you can get to it. In my friend group, anytime you play a planeswalker, you're almost immediately targeted for the planeswalker to be off the field. So you got to be prepared for that. Dami Raid. Good card to filter through some of the stuff in your deck. Look at the top card. If it's a creature, put it in your hand. You can do some fighting. And that last ability is game-changing as well. Get the emblem where creatures you control have double strike, trample, hexproof, haste. Vivian Reed. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Reveal any creature or lands from among them. Put them in your hand. Rest on the bottom in any order. No, random order. Excuse me. Then you can destroy an artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying for that middle one. And another great one, it's kind of like Dami Raid. You get an emblem that beefs up your creatures. Creatures you control get +2/+2, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. Kiora, Master of the Depths. Untap a land and a creature. Reveal the top 4. Put a creature and or land among them in your hand. The rest in the graveyard. Similar to Vivian, but they go in the graveyard instead of the bottom. And the last ability, you get an emblem. Where a creature enters your control, you may have it fight a creature. And then you put 3 8/8 blue octopus creature tokens on the battlefield. Last planeswalker in here is Arlen Cord. Giving creatures +2/+2, Vigilance Haste, or you can do the 0 to get the 2/2 Wolf and Flipper. Creatures get +1/+1, Trample. Can deal 3 damage to a creature or player. Then you have to transform her back. Or what I like the best out of this card is that emblem. The last ability. Creatures you control have haste and have tap. This creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. Now on to the creatures. I have a few Savage Knuckleblades in here. There's 3 of them. 3 mana, 4/4. You can either beef them up, return them back to your hand, or give them haste. Shaman of the Great Hunt. One of my favorite cards from this block. Mainly just because you draw cards, and I love to draw cards. Who doesn't? Haste, when you deal combat damage to a player, any creature, put a 1/1 counter on it. Then you can tap 4 to draw a card for each creature you control, power 4 or greater. That ferocious ability. Crater Elemental, 3 mana, nice little blocker for early on. You can sack it to deal 4 damage to a creature. Or if you have creatures with a total power of 8 or greater on the field, you can tap 3 to make this thing, Crater Elemental, have a power of 8. So it'll be an 8/6. Rattleclaw Mystic. The normal art here. Add some mana. And I believe this was a promo one I acquired somehow. I don't even remember. It was a while ago. But it adds mana. It's got the morph ability. When you morph it up, you can add 3 mana. Prophet of Kruphix, another one with a promo art. There's the normal promo. 5 mana, 2/3. Really love that card as long as you can keep it alive. It is just a 2/3, but untap all creatures, lands on each player's untap step. Cast creature cards as though they had flash. Kona Rescue Beastie. Beginning of your second main phase, if this card is tapped, you can put a permanent card from your hand on the battlefield. Which is a great card if you can keep it alive. It is a 4/3, so it's a little bit beefy, but nothing can stay alive forever in this game. Let's see, I'm going to switch around the order here, some of these. So I do have 3 gods in this deck. Keranos, God of the Storms. Indestructible. All these gods are enchantment creatures that are indestructible, and they don't become a creature until you have devotion to their colors. It needs to be 7 or more. So these mana symbols need to be in there on the field, 7 or more for it to be a creature. Reveal the first card you draw on each turn. Whenever you reveal a land, draw a card. Whenever you reveal a non-land, you'll deal 3 damage to a creature or player. Kruphix, God of Horizons. Again, same deal. Indestructible enchantment creature. That's not a creature until the devotion. You have no maximum hand size. Unused mana would empty from your mana pool. Instead, it becomes colorless. And Xenagos, God of Revels. Same enchantment creature, dynamic with devotion. Beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature gains haste and +X/+X, where X is its power. Start getting into some dragons here. Scourge of the Throne. Flying 6/6. It has dethrone, so if it attacks a player, the highest life gets a 1/1 counter. But when it does attack for the first turn, if the attacking player has the most life, you can untap all your attacking creatures and have another attack phase. Thunderbreak Regent. Nice way to kind of somewhat deter people from targeting your dragons. If they do get targeted, he'll deal 3 damage to that player. Den Protector. It's a Megamorph card. When it's turned face up, you get a card out of the graveyard back. Temur, Battlecrier. During your turn, spells cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control, power 4 or greater. And if you notice, a lot of these creatures in here are power 4 or greater, besides some of these ones that a little more support, the add mana one and the Prophet of Kruphix, things like that. Carry the Swirling Sky. Flying Ward 2, or Ward 3, excuse me. And when it dies, you can get either returning any number of target non-land permanents with total mana value 6 or less to their owner's hands, or mill 6 cards, return 2 instant sorceries from your graveyard to your hand. Animar, Soul of Elements. Protection from white and black. Cast a creature spell to get a 1/1 counter on it. Creature spells cost 1 less for each 1/1 counter on it. I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this right, but Erixmethus or Erixmethus, I don't know how to pronounce that. Slumbering Isle. Big old giant kraken. Though it does not come in as a creature, it's more just like a land that can add 2 mana. As you cast spells, though, you can remove slumbering counters. There are 5. Then it will become the creature. Zarok Dragonclaw. Flash can't be countered. Creatures can't be countered. And other creatures have trample. Another dragon here, Niv-Mizzet Firemind. Flying, when you draw a card, he'll deal damage to a creature or player, and you can tap to draw a card. Intet the Dreamer. 6/6 flying. If you deal damage to a player, tap 3. Remove the top card of your library from face down from the game. You can look at that card. As long as you control Intet, you can play it without paying its mana cost. Another little mana support here. Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. Add 2 mana in any combination, only for creatures. And tap a whopping 11 to tap it and have everybody's life become equal to the number of creatures they control. But you have to have creatures total the power 8 or greater. Goreclaw, Terror of Call, Sisma. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less. And whenever this attacks, each creature you control with 4 or greater gets +1/+1 trample. Lathless Dragon Queen, 6/6 flying. When you play a dragon, get a 5/5 dragon token with flying. Also gives dragons the Fire Breathe mechanic there. If you're unfamiliar, it's tapping mana to get +1/+0, and you can do that as often as you'd like, or as often as you can. Another Den Protector. Dragon Lord Atarka, flying trample. When it enters, deal 5 damage. Divide it as you choose among any number of target creatures or planeswalkers. Harbinger of the Hunt, flying. Can be tapping some mana to deal 1 damage to each creature without flying or with flying. You can do that as many times as you got mana for. Atarka World Render, flying trample. Dragons that attack gain double strike until end of turn. Again, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but Amoti or Amati, Celebrant of Bounty. It's got Cascade. It's a 3/1. Spells with mana value 6 or greater have Cascade. Inga and Isika. Creatures have Vigilance and tap to add a mana of any color. Only to cast a creature. Whenever you do cast a creature spell, if 3 or more mana from creatures was spent to cast it, draw a card. Now, this is pretty great, not only for all the creatures getting the mana, and you can help to cast your creatures, but there's also, as we remember, the Shaman, Rattleclaw. There's already some creatures that add mana. That can help get that triggered. Karuga, the Macro Sage. Nice little card for drawing cards. A 5/4 when it enters. Draw a card for each permanent you control, mana value 3 or greater. Lastly, Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, which works perfect with those ones I just showed and this one. But if you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 of any type that would produce, so it will add an additional 1. Then you can tap 7, look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any non-human creature cards from among them onto the battlefield, the rest on the bottom in any order. And if you saw, there are a few humans in here. Den Protector, Inga and Isika, Shaman, but there are quite a bit of dragons and other random creatures in here, so that's typically can get you at least a couple hits, maybe, hopefully, that can come in for free. Anyway, that is the Temur deck. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out the other videos of this deck tested against the self-playing Battle the Horde and To Defeat a God deck. As always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.